Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This here is a new one for me. We're just going to do a visual of it right now, but it looks to me like this is a lawn edger. This here is the rotating part, and it looks to me like it digs right into the ground, providing an edge that you could peel away for whatever landscaping thing. So this is a Mclane, and it has a Briggs & Stratton motor. And not much I can say about this, but this is upside down because you're reading it from up top, but it looks to me like this is the fast part, and if you want to shut it off, you just bring it all the way up. So it starts here, and then when you want it to go, you just put it on the throttle. So that throttle line runs from the back of here, goes all the way down, and all the magic happens right here. Now, if you are going to be taking any of this apart, you have to pay attention to the friggin' springs. If you don't put these springs back exactly the way that they are supposed to go, you could ruin the entire assembly. So, I'm going to push this down all the way down. This is pushed all the way down. This is what it looks like right there. You see that? Now, I'm going to release it. I'm pushing it all the way up. Here I go. Ready? This is it. This is all the way pulling up at the turtle and the stop position. This is acceleration position. I literally have to push it down, like down, just to get it to look like that. And then I pull it up, stop, really fast. Turtle, rabbit. Stop, go, 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 go. Stop, go. Okay, so this looks to me like to be the gas tank. This might look like the air cleaner. In fact, it says right there, air filter. This here's the muffler. This here looks like it's the oil, the dipstick oil. That's probably where I put the oil in. As you can see, this thing is rusty or oily as hell. So I will take a look at that. The serial numbers are right there on the side of that because it's a Briggs & Stratton. Looking on this side of it, there is, looks like there's an open thing right there. Maybe that was, I don't exactly know what that is. I can't even tell you what that is. Looks like there's another oil port right there. Wow. Looks like the oil release, that square plug. So, looking at this, I'm going to have quite a project. Now, the guy said that this engine starts, but it stalls when he goes to put it into gear. So I'm thinking it's probably a carburetor issue. The carburetor is probably under here. I will take a look at that. I will take all these apart just to get at that carburetor and look at it. But I'm going to take a lot of other things apart too, just to get a look at those. And I just noticed that, oh, there's a serial number. There's a serial number for this. I'm going to have to take a picture of everything that I take apart here just so I know how to put it back together again. And that's the good thing about having a camera, is that we can do that. But this assembly right here, like I said, you need to pay attention to those son of a bitchin' springs. If you don't put them back the right way, it is game over. Really. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to start working on this right now. Okay, so I got the engine out of the frame here. So when you're taking the engine out, there's 4 bolt holes. Goes in here, 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 here. That's where the engine comes out, and you have to make sure that this comes over the pulley when you pull it out. You're going to have to take the throttle apart to get this out, but over here, this is the throttle assembly that I took apart, which hooks up to here. I got the pictures to show how that goes back together, so I'm not lost. Now, this is the engine. The 4 bolts are right here, and on this side, there's 2 on the front, and 2 on the very bottom, and you have to use a wrench of some sort just to get those ones on the bottom. Now, I wanted to show everybody something in particular. This here rod has got threads on the top, or in the bottom, and on top. Now these threads here are longer than these threads here, and these threads go into this part of the air filter, and it screws into there, and then your filter assembly goes on top with the bolts that holds everything down. I don't want to show you that right now because I just don't got too much time, but I took the cover off, which is right here. This has 3 bolts. But there's one on the top, there's one on the side, and there's one on the other side. Just by looking at this, the condition of it, it's all greasy, oily, dirty, and I'm going to have to take that and clean it. So now we got an idea of what this looks like. I did not mess around with any of those friggin' springs, but we got the armature, the magneto, we got the flywheel. Everything looks like it's rusted a little bit, so I can clean that up. What I will do is I'll use some CLR and I'll spray the fuck out of the son of a thing and clean the fucker. If this is the gas tank, I'm going to have to flush that out. And I might have to flush the oil out too. The oil release is right there. You know what, there's not too much daylight that I can shun onto this, but yeah, I'm going to have to take more pictures of those springs now that I got this off. And I'm going to have to work on this part right there. So I'm going to do that right now. Alright, before we get into this, I want to show everybody the nice, beautiful day out there. Woo! Sunshine is all around. Yay! Okay, so it should make it more clear to see the video now. This is the cleaner version of the engine that I just took the cylinder head off of. And I just did it with all these friggin' products here. Plus water. This is the cylinder head. And this is the cylinder. So I spun this, and when you see this moving and this goes up and down, what that tells me is there is nothing wrong with the cylinder, the piston, or the valves. This is not an overhead valve. If it was an overhead valve, it would say so all over the engine. Overhead valves are these two. Instead of pushing up, these two valves push down like a vehicle would. And so therefore this is not an overhead valve. These are the valves. This is the one's bigger than the other. I have to refresh myself up as to which one is which. I didn't exactly look at it too carefully other than just now. But this is the cleaner version of everything. You could probably see everything a lot cleaner now. The gas inside, there is gas inside. I just looked at it. I can see all the underneath a little bit more clearly what's going on. There's not as much grease anymore. So we're going to test the gas to see what kind of gas is inside it. And we're going to do that with this here rolled up paper towel. So we're going to stick that into there and then we're going to pull it out. And since it's a valve system, the gas should be clear, but when you look at this, this is not clear. So we got to dump that gas out and put new one in. And this gas tank does come off. There is a screw right there, and there's a screw right there. When you take those two screws off, this gas tank comes off. Now, when I look at the bottom of this, it's not gravity fed. There's no tube underneath it. So what that also tells me is that there is a tube that goes from somewhere on here and it reaches down into the gas tank to pull that gas out. And if that is the case, then there could be sludge on the bottom of this, which is being sucked up by that little vacuum tube into the carburetor. Now the guy said that it bogs down on him when he uses it, and that could be the issue. There could be stuff in the bottom of that gas tank which needs to be flushed out. And if that is the case, then we'll flush out the carburetor there, and we will not even bother touching the cylinder. What I will do though is I will get rid of this carbonation on the top, and I'm going to show you the inside of the cylinder. I'm not even sure if you could see it, but the cylinder walls are perfect. There's no scoring, there's no nothing on it. And yeah, that could be it. I do gotta check to see if there is spark. In fact, I can do that right now. And I'm gonna work on that and everything right now. Okay, so on top here, to get that cylinder head clean and the two valves, I went and put a paper towel on here, and I went and soaked it with degreaser and stuff so it can soak and get that stuff, all the particles, so I can just wipe it clean. I took the gas tank off, and that is right here. I'm about to dump it into this pail. I wanted to show everybody underneath here that there is crud underneath that was inside the gas tank. I'm not even sure if you can see it with this video, but that is part of the reason why this thing was probably not working correctly. So maybe that's a better view, I don't know. But there was actually 3 screws that were in it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to dump this gas into here. Take this out. And then I'm going to carefully take it and then dump it. So here we go. Gas going into... So there we go, there we have it. I don't know what the hell that stuff is, but that is clearly not gas. Somebody had something in there, or whatever the hell, but that is it. What that means is now I gotta flush that out. I gotta wash it inside and out, and I'm gonna take care of this part here and clean that out too. And then I'm gonna wipe that clean. That's gonna happen like right now. Alright, after having taken apart everything here, I found the problem. So I'm going to explain to you what this is. This here turns out to be the carburetor. Air comes through here, gas comes through here. I think this is there's no primer bulb on this, but I think these two are where the gas comes through, and it gets fed through those 2 holes right there, and it goes out to here. This here spring action thing goes into there, and it fits just like that. Now the cover is this here part, and it fits over there. It's got 4 screws holding it in. Between this and the carburetor is this metering diaphragm, and when you look closely at it, this here part is worn all to hell. I'm going to bring this out into the sunlight to show you a little bit better, but as you can see, it's worn right out. It's not even usable. Again, there's a hole in there. It's like a used condom that's been used like 5 times before it got thrown away. You know, this is garbage. I gotta get a new one. This seems to be the only one problem aside from the gas tank that needs to be flushed out. But when I'm looking at this properly, for those of you that want to know where the top dead center is right there. It's the key here. It's pointing straight up, and that will be the maximum height for this, and these will be closed. So this here is the exhaust, this here is the intake. I just figured that out now just after I cleaned it. As you can see, it's nice and shiny. I used Easy Off oven cleaner to do that. So this comes up, this is the exhaust, this is the muffler hooks up to this part. This is the intake for the cylinder. You know what? I still have yet to look under that cylinder head, but I'm pretty sure it's probably needs to be cleaned out too. But this here is the main issue. I just blew it out. I just blew those holes out. I just flushed them out. So this entire surface is ready to go. I just need to find that metering diaphragm, and then we can put this entire thing back together without touching those stupid springs. So I'm going to try to order this part. I'm going to see if I can get it in, and then other than that, this can go back together. Here we go. Okay, so I have a cleaning issue here, and what I went and did was I went and flipped this from over upright like that. And it's kind of similar. What I'm doing is similar to flipping a woman over just to get upside her skirt so I can clean out the crusties out. And this here is the crusties. So look at this. You see that in there? That is so full of whatever the hell that is, that dry stuff that was coming from in and out of the gas tank. And it's caked on there. And the same thing with here too, like the dry powdery dust that's coming out of the gas tank. I gotta clean that out, so that's what I'm gonna be working on right now, is getting that shit out of there, scooping it out. So this is gonna be quite the task I'm gonna be faced with, is that. So other than that, I got the parts that I needed. Okay, see, this here was old parts. This here is the new one. You look at them side by side. So hopefully this one works better than the other one. And it's a nice sunny day for it. Friggin', I'm gonna just clean that part out there, flush out the gas tank, get into the cylinder head, and then we're gonna put it all back together. Okay, so after taking out the gas tank, when I drained it, all the stuff that was inside it dried out, and this crap here was left inside it. So this was wherever the hell it was, I don't even know what it is, but that was what was inside the gas tank after I had drained it from the gas. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these bits and pieces here, and I'm just going to put them into the gas tank, and then I'm going to shake the shit out of it, and those little bits are going to loosen any other debris that is inside the friggin' gas tank. I'm going to put the lid onto it, and then I'm going to shake the fuck out of it, and then that'll loosen up more of the debris that's in there, and then I'm going to flush it out with some CLR. So I'm going to work on that. Alright, this thing is put back together now. As you can see, it is nice and sparkly clean. There's hardly any gunk anywhere that you can see. I've got this nicely shined, except for, you know, the blade part. But the engine itself is clean, and I replaced all the parts of it and cleaned them as I went along. And I got this part here all installed. So I have been trying to start it, and I was scared that there was no spark. As it turns out, yes, there is spark. It's just an extremely tiny one, and I can somewhat get it to fire up like a little bit, but I'm gonna show you guys how I have been doing it. Now, I've been cranking on this like really hard, like really cranking on it, and then I found out that if you pull it slowly and you keep doing that, it'll snap on you. Just keep pulling it slowly like that. Alright, I'm gonna put this camera on a stand so you guys can see what I'm doing. I haven't had it fired up yet. It hasn't fired up yet, but we're just gonna have a look at it as we're working on it. Alright, so as you can see, it will somewhat start up, which means there is spark. The thing is working. And, you know what? This thing here, I'm going to show it to you guys. How it looks when you're reading it. So when you push this all the way down, that chokes it. That makes it run really fast. Right, and then you pull it up slowly, and then it starts to slow down. and then you pull it all the way up, and it's stopped. So this lever here, all this writing pertains to this lever, which is regarding the cutting blade. And all this stuff here is regards to the throttle. Now, when I go up and down like that, I see these springs moving, and I don't think they move the way that they're supposed to. I think there's something wrong with these springs, and I'm not sure, but it could have, the starting could have something to do with these springs, and I don't know. So maybe somebody had this apart before and did not put the springs on the right way, or maybe those springs have lost their tension, or whatever. In any event, I'm going to continue to mess around with this, but I'm going to look up this engine online and see how it is supposed to go together, and look for the operating instructions. So that concludes this one for today.